For more than 30 years, it has haunted radars around the world. And yet, by the time it appears, it's already too late. It's not a plane, it's a shadow. The most expensive and feared shadow in aviation history. This is the story of the most legendary stealth bomber on the planet, the B-2 Spirit. The origin of a ghost. It all began in the 1970s. The world was living under the shadow of the Cold War. On one side, the Soviet Union deployed missiles capable of reaching any American city in a matter of minutes. On the other, the United States was looking for a way to retaliate without being intercepted. Air superiority was no longer enough. Invisibility was needed. This is where the concept of stealth was born. At the time, the idea seemed almost absurd. How could you make an aircraft several dozen meters long invisible? But engineers, particularly at Lockheed and Northrop, explored mathematics that few people understood at the time. Radar signature reduction. Northrop Grumman, already known for its bold designs, proposed a radical concept, a flying wing. No fuselage, no vertical tail, no edges, just a smooth, continuous surface that reflected as few radar waves as possible, an almost alien shape. This concept would come to life under the codename AdvancedTechnology Bomber, and in 1981, the US Air Force gave the green light to what would soon become one of the most secretive and expensive military programs in history, the B-2 Spirit, the price of invisibility. It is often said that stealth is priceless, but in the case of the B-2, it had a price tag, about $2.1 billion per unit, adjusted for inflation. In other words, more expensive than most Hollywood movies combined. Even for the Pentagon, the bill stung a little. But behind this astronomical cost lies an unprecedented technological feat. The B-2 is not just a stealth aircraft. It is a flying weapons system designed to penetrate the world's densest air defenses and deliver its nuclear payload with surgical precision. And when we say payload, we're not talking about a simple missile. The B-2 can carry up to 18 tons of weapons, including B-83 nuclear bombs capable of flattening an entire city. Its mission? Take off from a US base, fly non-stop to the other side of the globe, strike its target, and return without being seen, without being intercepted. A plan so ambitious that even James Bond would have raised an eyebrow. The wing that defies radar. The design of the B-2 is as fascinating as it is formidable. At first glance, it looks like a black bird, flattened, almost organic. A single wing, 52 meters wide, no tail fin, no visible engine. Everything is concealed, even the air intakes and exhausts, carefully integrated to avoid any radar reflection or infrared signature. It is no coincidence that, seen from above, the B-2 looks more like a geometric shape than an airplane. Every angle and curve has been designed to fool Soviet radar. It is a lesson in engineering applied to warfare, the art of not being seen. Its coating, a special paint made from absorbent materials, costs millions and requires almost obsessive maintenance. A simple storm can damage its stealth capabilities. In fact, the technicians who look after it say with a laugh, the B-2 isn't afraid of missiles, but it hates rain. The first appearance of the Spectre. For years, the B-2 remained a closely guarded secret until 1988, when the United States finally unveiled what they called the StealthBomber to the public. On that day, the whole world was left speechless. The aircraft seemed to have come from another universe. Its shape, its silence, its mystery, everything about it evoked a ship from the future. But the B-2 is not just an aesthetic feat. Beneath its skin lies extremely complex technology, computers capable of stabilizing a tailless wing, sensors that adjust its radar profile in real time, and a cockpit filled with digital
digital screens at a time when many aircraft were still flying with analog dials. The message was clear. America now possessed the most advanced weapon in the world. The B-2 goes to war. However, the real test would not come until 1999 during the Kosovo War. For the first time, the B-2 was engaged in combat, and the results were spectacular. In 78 days of campaign, it carried out less than 1% of air sorties, but destroyed more than 30% of Serbian strategic targets without being hit, without being detected. Enemy radars saw only silence followed by an explosion. Since then, the B-2 has been used in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Libya, always with the same signature: strike hard and then disappear. This is what makes it not only a warplane, but also a symbol of deterrence. When a B-2 takes off somewhere in the world, military analysts know that something serious is afoot. The psychological weapon. The B-2 is not just a military tool, it is a psychological weapon. Its mere existence is enough to remind any potential adversary that the United States can strike anywhere, at any time. It doesn't need to be seen. It doesn't even need to fire. Its mere presence in the air is a political message. An American general is quoted as saying, "The B-2 is the modern form of the black horse of the night. When it flies, no one knows where it comes from or where it is going." And that's exactly what we want.
Fragility and grandeur, maintaining a masterpiece. Stealth comes at a hidden cost, vulnerability to mundane things. The B-2 requires almost sacred logistics to operate. The hangars that house it are not mere shelters, they are technological cathedrals, temperature and humidity controlled, where every inspection resembles an engineering mass. The absorbent coatings, the stealthy skin that makes the aircraft almost invisible, must be repaired with precision. Technicians perform thousands of inspection points before each mission. A tiny crack, a drop of water, or a misapplied coat of paint can increase the radar signature and ruin hours of planning. Thus, the B-2 is not just an aircraft on the battlefield, it is a preparation factory. It is probably the only military platform that could, without exaggeration, be described as a diva, capricious about weather conditions, demanding in terms of care, but formidable when pampered. And like any theater diva, it requires rehearsals, mission simulations, in-flight refueling training, synchronization with satellites and intelligence networks, tactical limitations, not invincible, just invisible. It is tempting to mythologize the B-2 as an invincible machine. However, stealth does not mean omnipotence. First, the B-2 is subsonic. It does not run. It advances patiently and methodically. For rapid strikes in a fast-moving theater, more maneuverable and cheaper platforms may be more suitable. Second, modern aviation has become an integrated game. Passive radars, electronic warfare networks, sophisticated infrared sensors, and space surveillance are gradually reducing the space for impunity. Physical stealth remains valuable, but it must be supported by electronic superiority, real-time intelligence, and sometimes by blinding measures, electronic warfare, to maintain its effectiveness. Finally, there is the question of cost-benefit. Deploying a B-2 for a single target may be excessive from a political and economic standpoint. That is why, in practice, the B-2 is reserved for missions where its unique attributes, deep penetration, stealth,
and payload capacity provide a decisive advantage. A question of deterrence, nuclear logic. At the heart of the B-2's strategic concept lies deterrence. During the Cold War, the balance of power rested on the credibility of second strike capabilities. If a state could survive a first strike and inflict unacceptable damage, nuclear war remained unlikely. The B-2, with its ability to strike deep and discreetly, reinforced this credibility. Even after the end of East-West bipolarity, the logic persists. Possessing an aircraft capable of going anywhere, striking precisely, and returning plays a role in the calculations of adversaries. Sometimes the strategic value of a system is not what it destroys, but what it prevents. This is the very basis of deterrence. Final reflection: the B-2 as a strategic mirror. The B-2 spirit is a paradoxical object. It embodies both modernity and tradition. Modernity through its technology and stealth capabilities. Tradition through its fundamental role in the logic of power, the ability to strike and deter. It is also a mirror. When we look at the B-2, we see not only an aircraft, but also how nations conceive of war, security, and politics. We see the shift toward costly but powerful systems, the tension between democratic transparency and military secrecy, and how technology transforms fear and trust. Ultimately, the B-2 is not simply the most feared stealth bomber on the planet. It is an ambiguous symbol, proof that human ingenuity can produce technical masterpieces, and an invitation to question the price, financial, moral, and strategic, that societies are willing to pay to maintain that power. The successor, B-21 Raider, the spiritual heir. The history of the B-2 is slowly coming to an end. Its descendant, the B-21 Raider, which is already in mass production, promises to extend stealth capabilities in an era where quantum radars and multispectral sensors are redefining the battlefield. The Raider will be smaller, more economical, and above all, designed to operate in a digital ecosystem where each aircraft is connected to the others in real time. But despite this modernity, one thing will not change: the legacy of the B-2. Without it, no modern program would have proven that a stealth bomber could be viable, reliable, and strategically decisive. The B-2 transformed technological fiction into operational reality, the strategic footprint of silence. Every era has its own iconic weapon. The 1940s had the atomic bomb. The 1990s had silence. The silence of an invisible aircraft capable of penetrating any defense. The B-2 redefined the way the United States projects its power, not through quantity, but through the certainty that nothing can stop it. Even today, when one of these aircraft takes off from Whiteman Air Force Base, somewhere in Missouri, there is no music, no flashes, no sirens, just a muffled rumble, a black silhouette standing out against the sky, then nothing. And in a command center thousands of miles away, an operator simply confirms spirit en route. That's all. But that all is enough to make entire governments tremble.